Oh, you got something going on.
Everybody wants a jacket. You want to do something, make a motherfucker on that tour jacket. We don't want that shit. No, why do I need Beanie Man and Memphis Bleak wearing a Def Jam jacket? They on Rockefeller. All of a sudden, niggas got jackets with their names on and on our tour. It makes it look like a Def Jam tour.
So at that point, I was busting moves faster than probably any other artist they had there. And I'm pretty sure that other artists and Jay-Z didn't like how fast I was moving. So when Dame did offer me that, I'm like, that's just another announcement I can make, because it's looking like Cam was in a terrible situation. I'm starting to get my crew together with the Diplomats, and now I'm doing good as a solo artist.
You want me to keep it real with you, or you want me to lie to you?
Keep it a buck.
I said the Rock Nation brunch ain't of nothing but Jay-Z putting a bunch of on the lawn and then going in the back door and saying, I told you I still run this shit. Give me the money.
Wow.
Welcome back to StarHush. You already know we're diving into some serious hip-hop drama today, and this one is gonna shake the tables. It looks like Cam'ron is still applying pressure on Jay-Z, and he's not backing down anytime soon. And now, he's got Gillie the Kid on his side, dropping some serious bombshells about how Jay operates behind the scenes. And let's just say, Jay-Z's reputation as a control freak is looking more real than ever because Gillie is out here exposing the type of deals Jay was offering back in the day, and it was giving modern-day servitude. According to Gillie, Jay-Z tried to lock him into one of the worst contracts ever, a deal so bad that it would have had him grinding non-stop, making pennies while Jay collected all the real money. And guess what? Jay didn't just try this with Gillie. This seems to be a pattern with how he handled artists under him. This revelation is hitting hard because for years people have speculated that Jay-Z only looks out for himself. But now we got someone from inside the industry confirming it. And the fact that Cam'ron is co-signing this expose, it just makes things even messier. Now this is where things get even more disturbing, because it's not just about Jay-Z offering bad deals, it's the way he allegedly handled artists who didn't bow down to his control. Word on the street is that if you didn't play by Jay's rules, he made sure you paid for it. We're talking about threats, career sabotage, and straight up blackballing artists who dared to think for themselves. And Cam'ron? Oh, he's got plenty to say about it. And you already know, Cam'ron doesn't hold back when it comes to exposing these so-called industry elites. He's been calling out Jay's manipulative tactics for years, and with Gillie now speaking up too, it's starting to look like a pattern of Jay-Z making sure he stayed on top, even if it meant stepping on the very people who helped build his empire. And here's where it gets real messy, because Gillie claims Jay-Z didn't just try to ruin his career, but that he actually threatened his life. Yes, you heard that right. Allegedly, Jay went beyond the typical industry politics and took it to a whole new level. So now the big question is, did Jay-Z really cross that line? Was he willing to go to extreme lengths just to keep his empire intact? Because if what Cam'ron and Gillie are saying is true, this changes everything about how we view Jay-Z's rise to power. Let's get into it.
He says he's in the studio playing it, and my verse come on, and Jay say, stop it. Erase that shit and just erase my whole verse. So PD calls me, he like, I
gotta slow you down a little bit.
At this point, it's no secret that Jay-Z is one of those ruthless business moguls who will do whatever it takes to stay at the top. More and more people are finally speaking up about how he allegedly did them dirty. Whether it was by forcing them into shady contracts, cheating them out of money, blackballing them, or even straight up threatening them to fall in line with whatever he wanted. And if you thought those were just wild accusations, think again, because Cam'ron is spilling the tea like never before. In recent interviews, Cam has been pulling back the curtain on his time at Rockefeller and revealing just how bad things got while working under Jay-Z and his former partner, Dame Dash. To understand why Cam was so determined to succeed, you gotta look at what he had already been through. Before Rockefeller, he had just gotten out of a nightmare deal with Tommy Mottola's Sony Epic Records, a deal that left him feeling trapped, unheard, and underpaid. Before that, he had been signed to Lance Rivera's entertainment label, which was also distributed by Epic Records. And guess what? That deal was just as bad. So by the time Cameron made it to Rockefeller, he was done playing games. He had already seen how ruthless the industry could be, and he was determined to finally get the success he deserved. He hit the ground running, ready to prove himself, but little did he know, he was walking into a whole new level of drama, manipulation, and power struggles that would change the course of his career forever. By 2002, Cameron was on fire. He had just dropped his third and most successful album, Come Home With Me, and it was stacked with major features. Jay-Z, Beanie Sigel, and Memphis Bleek all made appearances, and with Kanye West and Just Blaze producing tracks, the album instantly became a classic. That same year, Cam took things to another level by stepping into the movie world, starring in Paid in Full, a cult favorite crime film produced by Dame Dash alongside Makey Pfeiffer and Wood Harris. At this point, Cam wasn't just riding the wave, he was making power moves, rising up the ranks at Rockefeller, and securing his spot as one of the most influential artists in the game. Everything was falling into place. But then, Jay-Z allegedly stepped in, and that's when everything changed. Rumor has it that Jay wasn't feeling the way Cam was moving, especially the fact that he was climbing the ranks without Jay's direct approval. See, Jay was known for wanting to control who got to sit at the table, and if he didn't personally stamp your come up, he wasn't trying to see you win. But Cam, he was different. He was grinding, making connections, and securing his own bag, and that did not sit well with Jay. So what did Jay allegedly do? He started pulling strings behind the scenes to block Cam's success. First, he tried to limit his access, telling Cam he wasn't allowed to bring certain people to the Rockefeller offices. It was a power move, an attempt to isolate him and cut off his connections within the label. According to Cameron, things at Rockefeller started feeling real off once he caught wind of Jay-Z's energy towards him. It was like every time he needed something signed off or just wanted to discuss, Cam had put in work on the track, and just when it was set for release, Jay stepped in and made PD delete Cam's verse, just like that. Cam was not about to take that lightly. Years later, after he had officially left Rockefeller, he got his payback by removing Jay's entire verse from his own song, Oh My, just to make a point. The tipping point came in late 2002 when Dame Dash decided to shake things up at Rockefeller. Dame had big plans. He wanted Cameron and Beanie Sigel to take over as the new president and vice president of the label. Cam was hyped. After grinding for years, he finally felt like his hard work was paying off. But there was one major problem. Dame never ran the idea by Jay-Z, and Cam, he had no clue. From his perspective, Dame was co-founder of Rockefeller, so if he said something was happening, it had to be legit, right? Cam took the news at face value, believing he was about to step into a leadership role at one of the biggest rap labels in the world.
Because of these two bad deals that I came out of, I know where the money should be going. I know how much should be allocated to marketing, how much should be allocated to promotion, how much should be allocated to the studio, etc. I understood the business. So at that point, I was busting moves faster than probably any other artist they had there. And I'm pretty sure that other artists and Jay-Z didn't like how fast I was moving. So when Dame did offer me that, I'm like, that's just another announcement I can make, because it's looking like Cam was like in a terrible situation. I'm starting to get my crew together with the Diplomats, and now I'm doing good as a solo artist. Let me make this announcement, even though it was a real announcement that Dame told me, we just couldn't figure it out contractually. But I didn't know he didn't consult with Jay-Z about it. But when you asked me, do I feel the blame? Maybe I did jump the gun and talk about it too soon, because no contracts was signed, no deal was done. But I'm looking at it as, okay, this is Cam coming out of a shitty situation, busting all these moves in a small time.
Nobody expected Jay-Z to react the way he did. The moment he heard about Cam being considered for president of Rockefeller, he shut it down immediately, like it was an outright insult to even suggest it. It was as if Jay thought Cameron was trying to take over his empire, when in reality, Cam was just going along with what Dame Dash had told him. If Cam didn't realize Jay was actively trying to keep him down before, he definitely knew it now. But let's be real, this ain't the first time Jay has been accused of blocking people's careers. Over the years, several artists have claimed that Jay-Z blackballed them, made sure they never made it past a certain level, or straight up stepped on them to get ahead. And that's why so many people believe Jay's business fallout with Dame Dash wasn't just a random disagreement. Even Dame himself has said in multiple interviews that Jay played dirty behind the scenes. And honestly, it checks out. Because let's not forget, Dame Dash is the reason Jay-Z even had a career in the first place. Back in the day, nobody wanted to sign Jay. The labels didn't see his potential. The industry wasn't rocking with him. But Dame, he believed in Jay when nobody else did. Dame was the one who pushed Jay-Z's music to the forefront. He was the one who made sure Jay had a platform. And when no label wanted to sign Jay, Dame helped build Rockefeller from the ground up. It was Dame's vision, Dame's hustle, and Dame's connections that turned Rockefeller into a powerhouse. And it didn't stop there. Within a few years, Dame and Jay expanded into multiple businesses. They co-founded Rocawear, which went on to make hundreds of millions in fashion. They launched Rock Films, putting out movies like Paid in Full and State Property. They had the industry in a chokehold. In the beginning, Jay and Dame moved as a team. If one of them made a business move, the other was in the loop. They were brothers in business, and it looked like nothing could come between them. But then, something changed. Because as soon as Jay-Z got a taste of major success, he started leaving Dame out of key business deals. According to Jay, Dame was too reckless with money. He spent too much, talked too much, and was too unpredictable. He claimed Dame's hot-headed nature made business difficult. But others, they think Jay was just waiting for the right time to cut Dame off.
I don't understand that. Y'all don't, Jay's not on Def Jam. Jay's on Rockefeller. Y'all not better than me. Y'all trying to make, I don't understand that. I want somebody to explain it to me. I ain't get no calls about nothing. And I'm not even trying to, y'all pull this shit. Y'all know what we going through when we're bigs and all that. Y'all gonna around like this?
Honestly, we did know about the big thing.
I know y'all know about it. Y'all went to the wait. I want to know. I seen all of y'all yesterday. Why nobody told me about a marketing plan about Jay-Z? This is not your artist. Y'all don't do nothing for Jay-Z without me. What the That's why y'all trying to make this like, oh, that's also, y'all the ones promoting me and him got a beef too? Because we don't. How y'all got a meeting about Jay without me? How y'all make any decisions about Jay without me? Huh, John?
How you gonna have a problem?
Because I'm asking you because you here on Jay's behalf. I bet you Jay don't know I wasn't invited. I bet you that. An email, now we discuss things through email.
To some extent, people say Jay-Z had a point about Dame Dash because let's be real, Dame was living large in a way that wasn't sustainable. He bought multiple mansions in different cities, flew private for years, and had an entire closet just for his sneakers, not to mention the constant designer drip. And while there's nothing wrong with spending your money the way you want, the problem was Dame was spending like he had Jay-Z's type of money, but he didn't. And it didn't stop there. Dame wasn't just a big spender, he had a big personality that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He had a temper that could go from 0 to 100 in an instant.
Everybody wants a jacket. You want to do something, make a motherfucker on that tour jacket. We don't want that shit. No, why do I need Beanie Man and Memphis Bleak wearing a Def Jam jacket? They on Rockefeller. All of a sudden, niggas got jackets with their names on and on our tour. It makes it look like a Def Jam tour. Wait a second. All right, look, you're the president of the company, right? So that means you're smart. Am I right? So don't sit there and play dumb. Now, wait. If everybody on this tour has a Def Jam jacket on, what would be the general perception of this when people just walking around that don't know nothing? What would it look like? So then, knowing this, why wouldn't you be extra sensitive about giving everybody Def Jam jackets on this tour? Why? You're president, now you know. So either you're real smart or you're real dumb. It's one or the other. And I'm not gonna say that you're real dumb. I'm gonna say you're real smart. So you know better. You all know better.
He would talk down to business partners, snap at artists for the smallest mistakes, and burn bridges without thinking twice. And when you're trying to run a business, that type of behavior can backfire. Even Cameron admitted that Dame's downfall wasn't just about money, it was his attitude too. He had a real sense of entitlement.
Like with Dame, I would love to do the things Dame did. Fly private for 5 years straight. Buy 2 mansions in London. You got a mansion in London just for your is, and then a personal mansion in London for something else, or renting them or whatever. You just got mansions in London. We're not even from London. We just going to fucking London, hanging out, not saying, I put on my artists, or really, more Jim and Jewels, but we was all Dipset, SAS, just out in London spending money. I would love to have 2 lofts in Tribeca right around the corner for each other. 20,000 for this loft, 20,000 for that loft around the corner. So you got $40,000 a month for just lofts. Airfare, flying everywhere. I would have loved to have the biggest mansion in Alpine, New Jersey. Dame is the only that I ever seen to this day. I'm talking about to this day, and I've been in a lot of places, and like I said, maybe I haven't been in the right places. I've never seen a with a urinal in their house yet. Dame is the only I see where you go to his house and he got the stand up in the men's room. He got a urinal in his house, in the movie room, a urinal. You go to Dame's house, he got a crib in Malibu. Yo, these walls are made out of museum walls, right? This is the same shit they use in the museum, the same regular house walls. They make museums out. This is museum walls and shit. Bro, if you live like that, you gotta keep hustling. You can't buy all that shit you bought. And I'm being nice, I'm not even naming half of it. You can't buy all that shit and spend all that money and then be like, I shouldn't have to work anymore. I ain't have half the shit I just named. I ain't have no 2 lofts in Soho. I ain't have no 2 mansions in London. I ain't fly private every day for 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I ain't have no damn urinal. This all that you was spending your money on. I'm just good budgeting money, thank God.
He expected people to do things his way because he helped build Rockefeller. And when they didn't, he took it personally. But here's the thing, no matter how reckless Dame may have been, one fact remains true. Jay-Z wouldn't be where he is today without Dame Dash. And that's why people say what Jay did to Dame was the ultimate betrayal. Because after everything they built together, Jay-Z started cutting Dame out of major business decisions. He went behind his back, signed secret deals, and slowly started taking control of Rockefeller without Dame even realizing what was happening. And the worst part? Dame thought Jay-Z was his brother. He never expected Jay to go behind his back like that. But if there was one thing that hurt Dame the most, it wasn't the business betrayals. It was Jay's decision to work with R. Kelly, even after knowing what he did to Aaliyah. And for those who don't know, Aaliyah was the love of Dame's life. They were madly in love, and Dame was planning to marry her before her tragic passing in 2001. So for Jay-Z to turn around and keep working with R. Kelly after that, to Dame, that was the lowest of the low, and it made him realize something chilling. Jay-Z will step over anyone to get ahead.
These things, if you were giving me advice.
I wouldn't have been so generous with Jay. It was more friendship for me and money for him. I wouldn't have let certain things happen because I didn't think they could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would never do that, but he did things that I thought he would never do. So now I would be like, oh, he would do that, and I would make sure it didn't happen.
If Jay-Z could stab his own business partner in the back, just imagine what he's done to people who weren't even on his level. Because let's be real, if he could pull that move on Dame Dash, his so-called brother, then nobody was safe. And according to rapper Gillie the Kid, he's got plenty of stories that expose exactly how Jay-Z treats people he thinks are beneath him.
So back in the day, Hov tried to sign my group Major Figures. It wasn't just Hov, it was Dame Dash, it was Rockefeller. Okay. I didn't feel as though that the contract was right, so I didn't accept it.
See, a lot of people only see Jay as this calm, collected businessman, but behind the scenes, the man is ruthless. And Gillie learned that the hard way, because when Jay wanted him to sign that Rockefeller contract, and Gillie turned it down. Oh, that was the beginning of a whole lot of problems. Jay-Z did not take that rejection well. In fact, according to Gillie, Jay made it his personal mission to blackball him from the industry. And when Jay sets out to ruin somebody, he makes sure they feel it. Gillie claims that as soon as he said no to that contract, suddenly doors started closing. Business deals went missing. Industry folks stopped picking up the phone. It was like he was getting erased from the game in real time. And guess who was allegedly behind all of it? Jay-Z. Now, Gillie also spilled some crazy tea about Jay's infamous Rock Nation brunch. The event where all the biggest names in the industry come dressed in pastel suits, sipping champagne, looking like some exclusive millionaire's club. Well, according to Gillie, that brunch, it's not what people think it is. Gillie says that Jay doesn't host that brunch just to celebrate success. Nah, he's handpicking the next artist he's gonna use to climb even higher. He claims that brunch is nothing more than a chessboard, and Jay is playing a game that only he wins. And when it comes to who Jay-Z actually respects, Gillie pointed something out that fans have noticed for years. Think about all the pictures of Jay-Z that have surfaced over the years. Now ask yourself, how often do you actually see him smiling? Exactly. Gillie said that the only time you ever see Jay-Z really grinning in a picture, it's when he's standing next to billionaires, not artists, not producers, not even the people who have helped him get to the top, only billionaires. Because in Jay's world, there's only one type of person he truly respects, the ones who have more power than him.
You want me to keep it real with you, or you want me to lie to you?
Keep it a buck.
I said the Rock Nation brunch ain't of nothing but Jay-Z putting a bunch of on the lawn and then going in the back door and saying, I told you I still run this shit. Give me the money.
Wow.
It's crazy how almost everybody who's been watching this drama unfold seems to agree on one thing, that Jay-Z is the one in the wrong. Because let's be real, Cam'ron wasn't out here waiting for handouts. He wasn't sitting around waiting for Jay's approval. He was making moves on his own. And that, apparently, was Jay's biggest problem. One fan summed it up perfectly, saying, now that I'm older, I see why Jay had a problem with Cam. Cam wasn't waiting on anybody to make moves, he made them happen himself. I also remember he was going to sign with Big. And that's the thing, Jay-Z don't like competition, especially from people who ain't trying to play by his rules. But this situation raises a big question. If Jay-Z was moving like this back in the Rockefeller days, what's stopping him from doing the same thing to his newer artists at Rock Nation? Is he still trying to control people's careers? Still pulling strings behind the scenes to make sure nobody shines brighter than him? Or are all these stories just coming from people who are bitter about Jay's success? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest tea. Because trust me, this saga is far from over. See you on the next one, my stars and hushers.